Hello, viewer. We have with us Mr. Bharat Garg here, who has scored around 99.9 percentile in the CAT 2019-2019, and he's currently the first year of FMS Delhi. Am I correct, Bharat? Introducing yourself.
Absolutely, Dheeraj. Bang on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bharat would just want to understand your experience in CAT 2019 last year. How was it?
See, CAT exam, like always, I think is a bit challenging, especially given the time frame that you have. You have about 3 hours for 100 plus questions, so it's challenging in that sense. But other than that, CAT is something that if you're confident in your basics of all the subjects, means the curriculum is not something that's rocket science. Most of the topics are already covered in your 11, 12, right? It's basic aptitude testing. So if you're
True.
good with your basics, it's a pretty smooth sailing from that.
Okay, okay. What was your strategy? When you were appearing for the CAT 2019, what was your strategy specifically? Because it is one of the highest percentile in India. 99.9 is a extremely high percentile.
Uh, See
For
about
a
my
lot of people,
study
it's
now.
extreme.
Yeah. So the thing is, I started preparing around the time when the exams came out. So it was like I think August last week or second last week, something like that, right? And at that time, one thing was very
Okay,
clear in my mind. That's not only about scoring a very good percentile overall, but you need a good percentile in all the three subjects. You can't be like you score 100 percentile in two and then you are like 10, 20% in the third. It won't work for you, right? You need a good score for all three.
true.
So how I approached my studies was as soon as I filled the CAT form, I enrolled into a DLP course. I was already working, so I couldn't go for regular classes. I wanted something that's more self-paced. I could go only on weekends, study at my time. So I enrolled on an online course and I gave a mock test. And I screwed it. I completely screwed it. I think I got about what 70 or 60 marks in that test. And by percentile, I think it would have been like 60, 70 percentile something. So there was no scope for CAT for me at that time. But what I started doing from that moment onwards was I really neglected all the topics that were out there. I just picked up my weakest section. So of the three sections, LIDR, VARC, and Quant, I looked at what's my weakest part. I picked up that. Within that, I picked up my weakest topic. I took that, studied that for a week. Whenever I had time, I focused only on that particular part. So even though I was bad in all three, I focused on one aspect. For a week, studied it as much as I can, and then the next Saturday gave the test again. The complete mock test, a new mock test, 3 hours long, gave it. Again looked at the results and repeated the exercise. Identified my weakest section again, weakest topic, picked that up, studied for a week. Right now, how this helps is that one, I'm not focused on one particular subject or topic throughout the journey. Today I'm studying Quant, tomorrow I might be studying English, day after I might be studying LRDI. And I think everyone knows that we tend to forget things, right?
True.
And over the years, what I've analyzed is if you keep on revising the same topic, you never really know what you have forgotten. In this approach, I studied 1 week, and maybe after 2 months later, 6 weeks later, I realized it's again the worst topic that I have. But now I know that what all I have actually forgotten in those 6 weeks, right? So I can focus on that part. Plus, it ensured that all three subjects are improving simultaneously. My scores went up slowly and gradually in all three, and I ended up getting more than 99% in all the three subjects. So that's how I approached it, and I think can help a number of other candidates do so as well.
Okay. So you said you took online coaching, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then there was no time IMS Career Launcher, such kind of institution you didn't prepare for. Right?
Sorry, I couldn't get that.
Did you not get the time to go to some top coaching centers of India like Time, IMS Career Launcher? What was the reason that you chose online test? Was it that your time is not permitting, or something else was the reason?
The primary reason was time was not permitting. See, I was on a 9 to 5. That was a full-time job. I worked with Optum at that time. So Monday to Friday is gone. You really can't do anything there. I only had the weekend. And within that, living in a city like Delhi, traveling to institute meant I would be giving up 2 to 3 hours per day going to institute and studying. And at the same time, I will follow the schedule of the institute, which might not fit my personal desires. They might be teaching me topics that I'm already good at, and the topics that I'm bad at might come at the very end. I really want to be able to focus on that. Everyone that was giving CAT at any moment of time has already given a number of competitive examinations before that. If you are an engineer, you must have AITP JE. If you're a doctor, you have given your entrance exams. Same for any other course, right? So you have a few topics that are good for you. You know you're good at those. So why do you want to spend more time there?
True.
If you're already scoring more than 90% in a subject, why to study it more? Study on something you're failing at, right?
True.
And
Very much.
online education helps you do that. It's self-paced. I don't want to study a topic. I won't. It's as simple as that.
Right. Right. So after 99.9 percentile, what are the colleges you got the offer from?
That's the funny thing. So I applied to only a select colleges. So as I was already good in my job, I was good there, settled. So the focus wasn't doing an MBA, it was doing a good MBA. So I applied to 7 institutes: IIM, LKI, and FMS. FMS was a good priority on me because it was in Delhi and everyone knows about FMS, right?
True.
And I got shortlist from only two of those:
Okay.
FMS and IIM Lucknow.
Okay.
ABC, K, and I had no shortlist, even with 99.9. And it kind of amazes me. Like IIM is taking that exam, I a topper of the exam, top 200 ranks. Each institute has more than 200 seats, and I don't have a shortlist. That's the funny thing.
Okay. So, how is your experience at FMS? I mean, this year you are basically getting most of the classes online. How do you manage to cope up with this new changes?
See, online education has definitely took its toll on studies, I would say. Means I believe having a physical infrastructure where you study provides you a better exposure in terms of learning. Something that's pretty honest with anyone means anyone going for online education is you tend to lose focus sitting at home in front of that screen where your cameras are off. So your mind can wander, right? You are sitting in the laptop, you have thousand things going on the side, and that do impact your studies. And moreover, it impacts your peer-to-peer bonding, right? While you're in a group, sitting in a canteen, having tea together, that's a completely different experience. And you can't mimic that online, no matter what you do. You can have your WhatsApp groups, you can have your online meets, you can do tons of things. But that experience is somewhat lost in this online platform.
True.
But hopefully it will pretty soon we would start the campuses. COVID is going back. So we are hopeful for that.
Okay. How is your daily schedule these days? I mean, once you started your journey with FMS, what is your current daily schedule?
It's a hectic schedule. Means before MBA, I wasn't expecting. I knew MBAs are hectic, especially in the beginning, but the schedule we got wasn't something I was expecting. So we have classes 9 to 4. So that slot is booked for your classes. Post that, there are two, three things that are going on simultaneously. One, for each class, you get an assignment which needs to be completed. So you have your assignments, daily assignments. Then FMS is something that's a really good thing in FMS is the student on campus. And by that we mean other than the classes that are conducted from 9 to 4, faculty is not involved in any other process. Everything else is taken care by the students. So you have your content societies like for marketing, finance, consulting. Seniors conduct their sessions so that you can further have a better exposure, faster learning, especially because summers take place in the initial few months. So you need to really speed up your learning. So they take the sessions. Then they have their assignments that need to be completed.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you need to prepare for your interviews, prepare your resume. You need to study about the companies that you want to apply for, what they are doing, how they are doing, stay updated with the news. So basically, you end your day something like 2 or 3 in the middle of the night. And then you wake up again at about 8, get ready, sit in front of the laptop for 9 o'clock classes, and the cycle continues.
How is the schedule in the weekend? Do you guys get the chance to spend some good time with the friends or family?
I don't think we know what a weekend is anymore. Really, because one more thing that happens is usually another advantage of MBA in itself is that you get to interact with a lot of business leaders. So you have a number of guest lectures, senior leadership people coming in, telling you about their experiences, how things are in the real world. And again, those take place usually on the weekends because that's when our classes are not there. So you
Mhm.
have those, and then you need to complete your complete backlog of assignments on those 2 days. We don't have a definition of weekend any longer. It's like 7 days working for us.
In a hectic schedule up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Tell us a bit more about the FMS. I mean, regarding the teaching pedagogy and a little more about insight.
See, FMS is something that I would say is more towards or more closer towards the education at Harvard, Stanford than IIMs because FMS doesn't go by bookish education. Like we don't have prescribed books that we need to study. They are about you are an MBA, you need to know the basics of all concepts, and they can come from anywhere, right?
Mhm.
So they focus on practical learning, usually through cases. So they pick up cases from either the current times or historical business scenarios. They pick those up, help us evaluate those, what's going on there, and then cover the concepts of the core MBA subjects within those cases. So let's say you want to talk about finance, right? So they won't
Mhm.
say that this is the cost of finance, this is your interest rate, this is that, this is that. They will pick up an actual industry example, say how they got those finances, what were the challenges faced, how the decisions were made, and how things were calculated to get to that objective. And in doing that, you are covering not only course concepts, but how to apply them in a real world scenario. So it's a complete case based education, and we are free to refer to any books or stuff that we need to. And there's ample of material out there available for everyone to go for, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's more of an open education, I would say, based on the cases rather than just picking up a book, going chapter by chapter, and just saying, yeah, that topic is done. It's not like that.
Mhm. It's a more of a case study basis,
Yeah.
which they follow out there. Okay. Uh, uh, Tell us, like, what are the different specialization do they have in FMS, and which one is the best one in like at FMS?
So major specializers, I think, are same across all MBA institutes. You have marketing, finance, consulting, product management, so on. As you know, you get to choose are only in the second year. So first year is same for all. You don't need to worry about what you're going to take in the first year. It's after you complete your year, you have basics of all these subjects. Then you can finalize, okay, this is something that I want to build my career into. So you do have time for that. FMS is known for its marketing. It's termed as the marketing mecca of the world. So if you are at FMS, marketing definitely gets a priority over everything else. That's true. But other than that, consulting and finance are something that's a really budding fields in FMS. You have many experts in here. The faculty is definitely awesome. And even on the placement side, more and more consulting and finance companies are coming to FMS and taking a good number of students also. So definitely marketing mecca it is, but it's definitely taking over the other fields over the time.
Okay, okay, okay. What is the process do they follow while shortlisting the student? Apart from the CAT scores, what was the minimum CAT cutoff they took in your batch?
This time, I think it came out to about 99.5, the CAT score cutoffs. And one thing that I would like to add here, And the reason I wasn't shortlisted in the other IIMs, most of these IIMs focus on your 10th, 12th, and college scores way too much. Like they have a very high weightage of these subjects and comparatively lower weightage of CAT, right? FMS, on the other hand, doesn't do that. In FMS, you have only 10% weightage to your prior academics, about 60% weightage to your CAT score, and the remaining your personal interview, how it goes around. So someone like me who didn't do well in their 10th, 12th, or college exams for any reason whatsoever, FMS is something that provides you a second opportunity. And ABC or something like that, you need to be a topper throughout your life journey. If in 10th you are not serious about
Mhm.
your CATs, you can't go there. So FMS is something that focuses on your present rather than going how you were 10 years past in your life. That's gone, that's past, right? So that's a core advantage that FMS provides in this world today. And it's the only premier B school that is still living by that philosophy. It's your present that counts, not your past.
Very good, very good. So, what are the different rounds do they have? Like apart from CAT score, they take only PI, or they have some other rounds as well.
So unfortunately, this time because of COVID scenario, there was no other round. So it was primarily based on CAT. But usually it is GDPI. So you have a GD. After the GD, you go for a PI. Within the PI, other than the personal interview that's going on regular questions, they have something that's very particular to FMS, where you're given a topic on the spot and you need to speak on that for 5 minutes. It can be
Okay.
anything around the world, just anything you can think of. It's something that's unique to FMS, and it's only to test one thing: how good you are to think about a given problem on the spot, because that's what is needed in MBA, right? If you're managing, you don't get to prepare for the problems. It's something that you have to face on the spot. You need to know about it before you know the problem, right? So it's there to check your general
True.
awareness about how you can think on the spot. And those are three major things that go around into selection for FS.
Okay. Apart from academic, what are the other activity where FMS students are engaged into?
So other than the regular CATs, I already covered what the seniors are doing, right? After that, you do have your, I would say, photography clubs are there, dance music societies are there. So all those activities students get involved into. Another side of FMSF, it's very highly connected with the industry overall. So you do get a number of live projects from those companies coming in, where you get to work on, other than your internship and final placement, you get a chance to interact with those companies, actually work on your life problems while you are in FMS. So that's there. Then there are a number of NGOs that students have partnered with. They contribute to that. Recently, we did a fundraiser for funding books for the underprivileged students, especially in this COVID times, and students were able to raise a substantial sum for those as well. So you have those. And then everything else that, like, you have your college finances that are managed by the students, then you have the placements, those are managed by the students, bringing company in, talking to them, getting the other batch placed. So all of that is something that the students are responsible for. Faculty is not involved in anything other than teaching you your basic subjects. Everything else that goes on is done by the students.
What are the different clubs do we have out there?
So like I mentioned earlier, so you have photography club, music club, academic clubs, marketing, consulting, etc., etc. You have cultural societies taking care of all the cultural events going on. Then dramatics club, and so on. Means literally, if you have a passion for something at FMS, there would be peers doing that, and there would be seniors that would be here to guide you. That's something that I can assure you.
Okay, okay. What is your future plan after graduating from FMS?
Mhm.
Have you ever thought of like what are the area where you will explore?
For now, I am focused more towards taking what I've learned over the years and joining an organization that allows me to further grow and be in a leadership position, right? Summers are already here. We're already working towards that. And I think before we know, finals would be there as well. So my target would be getting into a managerial position, be something who's able to contribute to the world, not only in terms of making money and helping others make it, but on a social side as well. So that's something I'm targeting was something for an organization that's there not only to make money, but to help people at the same time. And I'm hopeful to get to one of those maybe sooner or later.
Very good, very good. Okay, now you're like there are a lot of people who appear for the CAT examination. Around 2.3 lakhs people, 2 lakh
Yeah.
30,000 people are appearing for the CAT examination this year. Quite a lot of them don't go into IIMS or FMS or such kind of B schools like top 30 B school of India. What is the message you want to convey if they are not the part of these premium league colleges? If you can give them some idea as to what are the things which they should study or they should focus upon when they are going to some other B school, leaving these colleges.
See, think of it on this. Even in primary schools, right? We say this is the best school out there, and these schools are not so good. And in each locality, we know, okay, this is the best school that my student, my child should go to, right? But is there any difference in terms of the subjects they are covering? It's the same, right? They're still CBSE or ICSE schools. They're still teaching you the same textbooks. Same goes here. No matter which MBA you want to go to, more or less you will be covering the same theoretical subjects throughout the journey. The faculty might be different, the companies coming for campus placement might be different, but the content that you have in your hand that you need to go for is the same no matter where you are taking your education from, right? There's nothing better in terms of subjects we are getting than to any other college out there. It's practically the same subjects or same marks. I would say try to identify what you want to do at. Like if you want to go finance or marketing, like say what you want to achieve in your life, focus on those subjects. And after an initial few years in your professional career, initially getting into your dream company or something that you really want to work for might be difficult. But after a few years, your work is what will speak for you, not your college, right? I think you have much more experience than me, and you can say for sure that after 4 or 5 years, if I'm performing well, there is no company that will come to me and say, see, you are not from IMA, so I won't hire you. If I'm good in my job, no matter which company it is, they will hire me, they will allow me to do it. If I want to start my own business, my college really doesn't matter much, right? It's my skill that matters at the end. So try to identify what really you are passionate about, what you want to do, learn about that, prove yourself in it, and then your college doesn't matter.
Hmm. Great, great. How you are adopting yourself? I mean, just wanted to know
Mhm.
how you are adopting the changes of online classes. I mean, do you think that you will be able to grasp the same amount of knowledge if the same continues, and how it is going to impact the placement? What is going on in your mind on this aspect?
See, for knowledge, like I mentioned, right, it's still the same ground rules that are playing. It's still the same curriculum that's going on. And at any time, it's on the receiver's part on how much he can grab. The faculty is still teaching the same thing. If they were taking examples earlier, they might have changed them, but they're going to cover it the same fashion. Faculty hasn't changed, right? Model delivery has, but the content and faculty is the same. So it's on the receiver's part on how good they can focus and work on it. On the placements, one thing that do impact is placements. There are two components. One is getting a job, and second is getting rejected from a job. And every company that comes on the campus, if two are getting selected, there would be at least another 20 or 50 that are getting rejected at the same time, right? Those who got selected, it's good. They're happy. But in this virtual scenario, it's difficult for those who might not get selected to cope up with that. We know there would be more companies coming in down the line. They will get placed eventually. But getting that initial rejections can be a big hit for the student, right? While you are in that closed room together with your friends, it's easier to cope with them. You know that, okay, these all have also not been placed. We are working together and we will get through the process. Sitting at home in a room in front of a laptop where you really don't know what's going on, who plays, who's not, it can build up on you. And that's something that as a batch we are most concerned about. How do we ensure that the mental status and the mental peace is maintained throughout the process and no one loses their cool? Because in this scenario where you are all alone in your house, these things can build up. And definitely we're taking enough measures to ensure that no one feels alone, especially during that week of placement. It's most crucial.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so very much, Bharat. Thank you so
Thank you,
very much for your
Dheeraj.
time. It was really nice talking to you today and getting insight about FMS. Is there any final message you want to say to the student who will join FMS or other B school after you? Any final message from your side?
I think one thing, and not only the students that who are going to join a B school, who are going to give CAT or just anyone who watches this video, it would be at any point in your life, you don't need to worry about the results. Just keep on giving your best at every moment, and the results is a byproduct. Don't worry about that. If you're giving your best, it will happen. What you want will take place sooner or later. Don't lose hope. Just keep working, keep giving your best, and the best will come back to you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, Bharat. It was really nice talking to you. We'll be in touch afterwards as well. Thank you
Sure,
very
Dheeraj.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great time ahead.
Thank you.